Now today we will start with the another portion. Now see, we have done two theories. One is the Lewis concept, in which covalent bond formation was shown with the help of Lewis structures. Second one we had done with the help of VSEPR theory. VSEPR theory is regarding the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. It could explain the shapes of the molecules. But still there were certain molecules which we have discussed in Lewis concept, that why some of the molecules, even when they are not completing their octet, we have discussed about BeCl2. So why such molecules which are not completing their octet, still those molecules are formed and are not, they are still stable. So for that reason, again another theory was given, that was valence bond theory. Okay, so this valence bond theory we have to start with today. Now for valence bond theory, what was the basic idea behind? For example, in case of valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, what was the basic idea? That there is repulsion between the bond pairs and lone pairs, and because of this repulsion there is different type of geometry and shape formed for the various molecules. Similarly, valence bond theory was based on another concept which you have to remember, and it is also a very important concept, the concept of hybridization. So later we will come to the concept of hybridization. First we come to the basic idea behind valence bond theory. In valence bond theory, what is there? It was dealing with the overlapping of atomic orbitals. Suppose a bond is formed between two atoms of hydrogen to form molecule H2. So when molecule of H2 is formed, then suppose this is one hydrogen nucleus and shell with electron. This is nucleus of another hydrogen atom, and this is electron. One electron in the valence shell, or only one shell, which is the valence shell. Okay. Now when two atoms try to make bond, then their atomic orbitals overlap each other, and the strength of the bond depends on the extent of overlapping. Now whether this overlapping of atomic orbitals will take place or not depends on the number of positive attractive as well as number of negative forces. Now what are those attractive and repulsive forces? This we have to see. Okay. Now when these two hydrogen atoms, hydrogen atom 1 having nucleus is having one proton, okay, positive charge. There is one shell having one electron, negative charge. Okay. Then another nucleus, neutron is not there, nucleus, and I am writing for nucleus. Proton is there, positive charge. Okay. And electron is here. Now what happens when two atoms approach each other for making of bond? Then positive or attractive forces come into action, repulsive forces come into action. What are the positive forces which will come into action? This is true that this electron and this proton has attraction, but it is also true that the electron of this atom, when they approach together, will have attraction with the proton of another atom. This is one attractive force. Similarly, electron of this will have attractive force with the proton of the nearby atom which is coming to make bond with it. So these are the number of positive forces, or you can say attractive forces. Similarly, this electron and this electron are going to repel each other, because these are like charges. Like charges always repel each other. In fact, proton and proton will also repel, but because they are inside the nucleus, inside the atom, so they are not coming very close to each other, so their repulsive force will not come into action. So electron and electron will be facing repulsion, proton and electron and proton will be facing attraction. So when number, or you can say not only number, magnitude of positive or attractive forces are more and the number or magnitude of opposing forces are less, then the net value is, net force is what? Attractive force. So these attract each other. Okay, and hence because the number of attractive forces in case of hydrogen atom are more than the number of repulsive forces, hence formation of H2 bond is possible. H2 molecule is possible. So this was the basic idea, that when atoms approach each other to form bonds, atomic orbitals overlap each other and the formation of bond depends on the number of attractive forces. If attractive forces are more than the repulsive forces, then bond formation will take place. If the number of these forces are less, then bond formation will not take place. Okay, so this was for one, explained for one molecule formation, and these are atomic orbitals when they overlap. How strong is the bond will depend on the extent of overlapping. More overlapping, stronger is the bond. Okay, then now not only extent of overlapping, also you can say overlap nature also decides that whether the bond formation will take place or not. For example, if we talk about S orbital is spherical in shape. If one S orbital is overlapping with P, we have P orbitals of three types. One P orbital is vertical, and you can say that it is directed along x-axis. Suppose one will be in other direction, let this direction be y, this is x direction, this is y direction, and one more P orbital directed towards z direction. See, any of the direction is not x, y or z. We have to assume any one direction as x, other as y, and the third one as z. Now generally this atomic orbital, this p orbital, which is along the internuclear axis, that means you can say the orbital which is horizontal, that orbital is generally by convention considered as z, because this orbital is different from these two because this is along the internuclear axis. When this is along the internuclear axis, whenever bonds will be formed with the help of this orbital, then those bonds, the nature of those bonds are different. That is why we have to assume a fixed nature of it, type of it, so that in all books or all when study, they should know that we are talking about which type of atomic orbital. So Z generally is considered along the internuclear axis, or you can say horizontal to the plane. That orbital is Z. Okay. Now, when this Z orbital overlaps, how this overlapping is taking place, important to understand from your side. For example, if I talk about formation of H2O, water molecule, formation of water molecule. So we know that hydrogen is having configuration 1s1. Oxygen is having configuration atomic number 8, 2 and 6. So 6 will be 2s2, 2p4. Okay. So 2p4 is this 1, 2, 3 and 4. These two are vacant. In case of hydrogen, 1s1 is this. So 1 electron, 1 is vacant because there are maximum 2 electrons in a orbital. So because these are vacant, so what will happen? That this will pair with this, overlapping. What we are calling it as atomic overlapping. This overlapping of one hydrogen will take place, this vacant p orbital, this is p, and shape of p is this. Okay. Similarly, we have another hydrogen. So this hydrogen will also have the same orbital. This will overlap with another vacant, and that is why we have H2O molecule formation. So we know that in case of water molecule, S orbital of hydrogen is overlapping with P orbital of oxygen because P is vacant. Clear? So whenever such type of overlapping take place in any molecule, this is just one example which we have taken. Then in that case what happens? If that P orbital which we are taking is PZ, that is along the internuclear axis, then this type of overlapping which is taking place will be called positive overlap only when, see, P orbital has two lobes. One is this, one is this. Now we just saw that P orbital which is undergoing bond formation has only one electron. Now the area available, space available for P orbital is this much. Only one electron is there. Either that electron can be this side or that electron can be this side. One electron at a time cannot be present both the sides. So when this orbital is undergoing overlapping, during that time, if this electron is present this side, so this lobe will be called positive, this lobe will be called negative. Negative means nothing is there, it is blank, because one electron keep on moving and it can be present any one place at a time. If it is present this time in this portion where the P orbital is overlapping with S, then bond formation will take place, and this is called positive overlap. But it is not necessary every time. If S orbital is overlapping with P and when overlap is taking place, the electron is present opposite side. So this lobe is vacant, this lobe is occupied. So this overlap is a negative overlap and bond formation will not take place that time. So every time bond formation will take place, it is not so. Right movement when the electron is coming to this place, then only bond formation will take place. Okay, so conditions are always responsible for bond formation. If positive overlap is taking place, that means what? The electron is overlapping with the S. In case of S, this is not the problem because S is spherical in shape. So when it is coming this side, it will overlap and bond formation will take place. Okay. So we have to remember about this. If one P orbital is overlapping with another P, for example, formation of O2 molecule. In O2 molecule formation, one oxygen atom will have P orbital, another will also have P vacant orbital. They will overlap to form bond. So again, positive should overlap to make the bond. If positive and negative, that means vacant portion is overlapping, bond formation at that time will not take place. Okay. So what is the right time? When positive overlap takes place, that is the right time for bond formation. So this is just to know that what is positive overlap, what is negative overlap, like that. Okay. Now positive negative overlap is okay. One more type of overlap is there which is known as zero overlap. What is this zero overlap? Suppose if I talk about S orbital and we have three types of P. One is Px, one is Py and one is Pz. With S orbital, only this P orbital can undergo overlapping. Because if I try to overlap, suppose this is Px which is vertical to the internuclear axis, okay? Then if these two orbitals try to overlap, then what will happen? There is no place where they can overlap because either the electron is this side or the electron is this side. So when they will overlap, they can overlap in this area. That means there is no overlapping possible between a S orbital or a P orbital which is vertical to the internuclear axis. That means only PZ. Neither this can overlap because their electron densities will not match. only pz is the orbital whose low overlap with s. So bond formation between pz and s is possible. This you will understand when it will come with the examples of different molecule formation. Now, if I take p orbitals, suppose one of the atom has pz orbital available which is vacant having one electron, and another atom which is overlapping with it has vacant px orbital. These two also cannot overlap because again their orientation is not matching. So pz can overlap with only pz of another because their orientation should match. Okay, px can overlap with px of another atom because their orientations are same. Py can overlap with py of another atom. So for overlapping also we have to just see that whether that overlapping is possible or not possible. Then bond formation can take place or cannot take place.